Yo, welcome to drywall mistakes every DIY beginner makes, and even some mistakes that professional ones make. Let's jump into it. Now you might be asking yourself, how do you know about these DIY drywall mistakes? Well, I've made them, and they're all in my bathroom. So the first one here is not feathering in your drywall, not spending enough time to make it merge in with the existing drywall. You can see here that you have this corner and it's going in, but then you can see the difference between the texture here and then this new drywall here. You can even see that more so on this side. Old, new. It needs to be feathered in. For all of these issues, it's basically the same answer, which is doing drywall correctly. So we'll go over that here shortly. But next up, we have the corners. And so the corners here, you can see, I put on two metal corners here and then did this across. But I didn't put enough mud on here or spend enough time on it, so the transition is not smooth. You can also see down here that this is really bad and it's actually coming up. That is really bad, looks terrible. Make sure you do it right. All right, next up we have this transition piece, which is over here by my light switch. So we had a piece of drywall down here, drywall up here, and there's a transition here for the tape and the mud to sit over it properly. But I didn't put enough mud on the transition, so you can see if you go here and there's where the mud stops, like right there. And you can see even on this outlet here where it stops. Come over here, stops, and lift it up. That transition is no good. You gotta get your transitions good. Gotta put more mud, make sure it's all flat, and so the faceplate sits on the wall flat. Now here is a surprise. I had a professional drywaller do this in my addition. Let's jump over there real quick. This is my new addition. So I put all the drywall up here, but I got someone to tape it, mud it, float it, whatever. And they did this part where the switches are, and look. Coming off even worse. Come on this side. You can see there's a hump right here. Right there, and hump right there. That's a professional paid person making that mistake, and he did amazing on the rest of the addition, but that's just something to look out for. And if you're paying for it, make sure they do it right, or you're gonna have to do that and sand it and whatnot. So let's jump back into the bathroom. The next problem is not screwing your screws deep enough into the drywall. For instance, here you can see the screw, and then there's this mud right here, but it doesn't completely cover it and it's not sanded properly. Now for another mistake, let's jump back to the addition. Can you see that? That is another screw sticking out of the drywall, and I gotta be fair to the guys. They did do a little bit of work when they got here to screw in more of the screws deeper into the drywall, because I'm the one who screwed it in. So that's just one that they missed. But I think that's the only one, which is pretty awesome. So that's that. Another DIY failure you might have is not necessarily due with the drywall and the mudding, but the texture. So I just did this closet area room. Used to be our old living room. And I textured it with some spray stuff from Home Depot. But you can see here where the texture is, it's rather large. If you go over here, the texture is smaller. So whenever you're spraying those DIY drywall things, make sure you're spraying all of it the same, because it is noticeable, and that's something to take note of. Here's another mistake that's very similar to the walls not being feathered in correctly. Here's my ceiling. You can see the outline there. So I cut a hole in that, and then I had to patch it up. So patched it up into the joist, screwed it in, put mud over it, sanded it, and it still looks like that because I didn't put enough mud on it. But so patches are very noticeable if you do them incorrectly. And I feel like I'm looking down at you. Patches can make your room look awful. Let's go to the next one. Before we get into why these issues happen and how to fix it rather simply, let's talk about drywall some more. Drywall is hard. I did all the drywall in here with my two bare hands and a lift. And it's really painful. It's really hard work. You get super tired. And any DIY work is kind of like that. And now there are a million things that can help with stress relief, anxiety, and pain relief. You know, like eating well, working out, going outside, spiritual disciplines, eating your vitamins, and even things like CBD oil. And that's today's sponsor, Mellow Organics. They have organic CBD oil, and CBD oil is not like doing drugs or anything like that. It's more like a supplement or a vitamin. It helps with your system behave as it should behave. So if you have, you know, a lot of extra pain, you have trouble sleeping, you have a lot of anxiety, CBD can help with that and get your system back to normal. And one thing I love about Mellow Organics is that it is organic. There's no extra crap in the CBD or any of their other products. It's just the straight up plant. So if you are a DIYer, construction worker, just a person, and you need some help with all the things I mentioned, sleep, anxiety, check it out. Don'tWorryBeMellow.com. Get you a discount on your first purchase, and check out their other products. And so let's jump into the solution of bad drywalling. So the problem with most of these things is just simply you're not doing drywall correctly, which is obvious because DIYers have never done drywall. And I know professionals have, and they make mistakes sometimes. That's to be expected. But DIYers, they have no idea how to do it. So you can only watch so much YouTube on drywall, but you have to try it and do it over and over again to get good at it. And I've done multiple rooms now, and I still make mistakes. So in a quick recap, put in your screws far enough so that the mud can cover it over. 2, on your corners, make sure you put enough mud so that you can feather it in correctly. 3 is feathering your seams. 4 is spending enough time to sand it, and if there's issues, go back with mud to redo it. 5 is getting the texture all the same, looking all the same. And if you're interested in more of these tips, go check out this next video here, and let me know in the comments how many of these DIY mistakes you have made in your lifetime, because for me, I made all of them. So I appreciate y'all watching, appreciate y'all hanging out, and go check out the next video. I will see y'all out there. I'll see y'all later. Toodaloo.